Ready?
I'm ready.
Just get right into it.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to Sweethearts or Rivals.
Hey,
I'm Charla.
I'm Justin.
And what are we playing today?
Today we're going to play The Village.
And The Village Inn.
Nice.
This game is a game published, the copy we have, by TMG.
Yep.
The Village Inn was published by the original publishers, I think.
Peggish Spiel and Eggert Spiel.
Yep.
Very hard to get, but glad we got it.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we ordered it from Germany, didn't we?
Probably.
Anyway, probably had to. So The Village here, it plays 2 to 4 players, and it's supposed to take about 60 to 90 minutes. The ages it's appropriate for are ages 12 and up.
Yep. And when you add the Village Inn to the mix, it can play up to 5 players.
Awesome.
Yep. And it does add a little bit of time, up to 120 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, an extra half hour.
There you go.
Cool.
So what we're going to do next is set her up.
Yep.
Play some.
Yeah.
Talk about it a little bit.
Come back for your final thoughts.
Yep.
Our
final thoughts.
Not yours. Mine.
Well, you can leave them in the comments below if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yep.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Right on. All right, so we've got the Village and the Inn set up for a 2-player game. When you add the Inn to the game, normally in the base game you have the graveyard here and the Chronicle there. So the Inn comes with these extra pieces that just kind of cover them up. So now we've got a Brewmeister and we got the Inn. And then we got the Village Chronicle here and we got the unmarked graveyard there. So that's kind of nice. We start off with our farm. Our first generation, with this marker here for our time. We each get $1.
That's right.
There you go. The Inn visitor cards, you shuffle them up and then you get 3 stacks. And then so they're face up. So these are the 3 visitors available at the Inn right now. And as you get them, more get revealed. For a 2-player game, you leave these 2 stalls empty, but the rest of these get filled with the demand tiles. So these 3 right here are current demand, and then these down here are the future demand. So you can kind of look ahead, which is nice.
Right.
And then, if you can pass me that little card there.
Yes.
There's these handy dandy cards here, and they show you how many players right here. And then, based off that, it's going to tell you how many of each color cube go into the bag. So we have 4 pink, 5 brown, 5 green, 4 orange, and then you put the maximum number of the black plague cubes.
Right.
So, and then it'll also show you in each round how many come out of the bag for each of the spots, which you've already done.
Right. Yeah, I already populated the cubes there.
And we got all of our resources here. Here's our monkery bag for the church. And everything's set up and ready to go.
Yep. So, what is this game about?
In the village, you're playing in a village with your family of villagers. You start off with 4 people of your first generation, and then you can get a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th generation. Basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to be the family in the village that is most prestigious, most remembered, does the most things that can live on through history for the rest of time.
Yes, they get recorded in the Chronicle.
Yep. So basically whoever gets the most points wins. One big part of getting those points is the Chronicle right here. So the Chronicle is set up into 5 different sections. You got this section here, which corresponds to
this building,
the council. This section is set up for the
yellow
tradesmen or the crafters. The green shield is for the travelers, so
here.
You can even leave the village and see the world and you'll still be remembered for your crazy travels.
Right.
This section here is set up for the church.
Right here.
And then this nice big section here is set up for actually your farm, so your farmers also get remembered. A certain number of these spaces are cut off for the number of players. So For a two-player game, only one person is going to be remembered in the Senate, or sorry, the council. Only 2 from the craftsman, only 1 for traveling, 2 for the church, and 3 for the farm. And basically how that mechanic works is very interesting. There are going to be things that are going to cost you time, and plague cubes actually accelerate that. Every time you pull a black cube, you're going to advance 1 time automatically. So your track's going to go down here across this time all the way around your farmhouse, and when it gets back and crosses that bridge, after you're done that turn, you get to take one of your lowest generation and they die. You get to choose which, and depending on where they are, they're going to go into the chronicle. If they can't go into the chronicle, let's say I had somebody in the council and the council already has Charlotte's guy, then they're not remembered. They go into the unmarked graves. Dun, dun, dun. Now in a 2-player game, there's only 3 unmarked graves. If the chronicle gets filled, it triggers the end game. If the unmarked graves get filled, it triggers the end game. And when the end game is triggered, every other player gets 1 last turn, and then you
score your points.
Lots of different ways to score points. Lots of different strategies towards winning. You can kind of do a mix match of everything, or you can kind of focus in on 1 or 2 or 3 different areas. And you can try something new every game. We've played this a lot, and there are still strategies I really haven't tried yet.
Right.
So, shall I go over the different areas?
Sure.
All right. Or do you want to go over the different areas?
Well, I can go over some of them.
All right. You start.
Well, we can start up here.
Yep.
This is the market. So in this, the way you get points in the market, you go and you buy an item, so you have to have what the demand is. So to go in the market, you'd pull a cube, and then you start the market.
Yep.
And then if people want to get in on the market, they have to spend a green cube and a 1 time.
Yep. Which is kind of nice because one person starts the market, but every player gets a chance to get in on it, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
Yep.
So if you want to travel, you'd pull one of these cubes, and there's what you need to travel here. So you'd have to spend 2 times a carriage and 2 pink cubes. So then you travel here, you can put your red marker here, and then you get whatever is in the circle.
Yep.
So if you go this way, it's 3 points. And then there's a score here. So if however many discs you have, in here is how many points you score at the end of the game.
Yep. So even if you don't have a guy who's died traveling, is remembered in the chronicle for being a traveler, just traveling as much as possible gives you a lot of bonus points at the end of the game.
Right.
Yep.
And then here, if you pull a cube from here, you're farming your farm.
Yep.
So number 1, you have to have a farmer in your farm to farm.
Yeah.
And number 2, there's different amounts you can farm depending on if you have different resource tiles.
Yep.
So 2 for just a farmer, but 3 for a plow and a horse.
Yep.
4 for an ox and a horse.
Yeah.
Or sorry, ox and a plow.
Yep. And the maximum amount of wheat you can have in your farm that it can kind of store is 5. Yep. Good.
So then there's the, what do we call it? Council?
Yep. Village council.
So if you pull a cube here, you'd be able to spend either a scroll or 2 green cubes in a time, and then you get the bonus that's down here at the bottom. So first player, 2 cubes of your choice, a resource tile, or you can trade money for points.
Yep. And if you have a village member in the council at the end of the game, you get bonus points based off their rank.
Too.
Yep.
Here, if you pull a cube in the marriage area, you get to expand your family into the next generation.
Yep.
Or you can pull someone back.
Yeah.
So say you have a number 1 that you need to die at your farm, perhaps. You'll pull a cube and bring your number 1 back home.
Yeah.
There's just a little section here to remind you that if you want to take an action that's been used up already, if you have 3 cubes of the same color, you can choose your own. You can choose one of the actions.
Yeah. It's like a free action. 3 cubes, go take any action you want.
Right.
Nice.
And then this is part of the expansion, the village inn. So if you pull a cube here, and you have a person here, you'll spend some time to buy one of these extra cards.
Yep. So you're like basically bribing the visitors at the inn to like be your friend. and they give you all sorts of bonuses.
I think you're just networking. You don't have to bribe them.
Okay, you're networking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
but I mean,
friendly.
you're paying this guy money. You're paying this guy money. This guy you're getting really drunk.
Okay.
In your networking.
Right. So then there is the church.
Yep.
So when you pull a cube here, you can put a guy into the monk.
Into the monkery.
The monastery.
Monastery, yep.
So you'd either pay a brown cube or 3 times.
Yep.
And then at the end of each, after all the cubes have been taken, there's like a mass, and then that triggers that to happen.
Yep, I'll explain that after.
Yep. And the very last spot here is the market. So if you pull a cube here, you have access to these buildings.
Yep.
So you can put people in and spend time to generate the plows, the carriages, the oxen, the horse, the scrolls, and then this is where you buy beer.
Yep.
Or ale.
Yep.
At the brewery.
Yep.
Oh, and you can also sell your wheat for money there.
Yeah. Coins are kind of important, or they're powerful. They can be any cube you want, kind of like a wild card. They're worth points at the end of the game. And if you can get a lot of coins and get into the council area, you can trade them for a lot of points. So coins are pretty important, and they're kind of hard to get. The very interesting aspect of this game is, let's say I go into this kind of craftsman area. I could spend like a pink cube and get myself a scroll. Or I can actually take one of the members of my family and train them to be a scroll maker. So he would stay here, and instead of spending cubes and resources, I'm just going to spend a bunch of time, and he's going to be a scroll maker. And then anytime I pull a cube from the craft area, I can just spend a little bit more time to craft another scroll. And this happens all over the board. You can put people into here to be different kind of craftsmen. You're going to be putting people into the monastery to become church members. You're sending people out away from your farm to be travelers. You're going to send a person into the inn, and I laughingly say they're just there to be a drunk. You've just trained them to be a drunk, but no, they're there to network and make friends.
Yeah.
And then of course you can send a person into the council area to be a councilman, and they stay there. So you got to make sure that you're getting, you know, your people out where they need to be to get you the best bonuses, but you also got to make sure they're there for when somebody's got to die, so you can fill the chronicle properly. And you don't want your farm to be empty, because then you can't generate wheat. So you're managing a lot of people and jobs and where they are and what they're doing in the world.
Right.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, so that's a brief overview of the game mechanics.
You go around taking turns, pulling cubes and using the actions first. So if you pull from this area, you're going to be doing this action. You can pull a cube and not take the action, just to block someone, or if you can't take the action. Hello, Jinx. Bye-bye, Jinx. When all the cubes are gone, the round ends, and then we have mass. So the first thing that happens in mass is you take the monastery. The monastery starts off with 4 monks. And the way you kind of keep track of which generation these are little stickers with 1, 2, 3, and 4. The monks have stickers on them that are blank, and that way you can't cheat and reach in and grab somebody that does have a sticker.
Right.
So it's got the 4 monks. If you want to, if you put one of your family members in the monastery, you can pay $1 to take them out automatically. So you can kind of bribe your way to get out of the monastery faster. Or what happens is you reach in and you randomly take out 4. And if any of them are your family members, they become a member of the church. After everyone's been taken out and into the church, then you can pay wheat to the church in order for your family members to gain rank. Gaining rank is important for the end of the game, because you'll get points based off of how many members you have in the church and what their rank is. It's also important because whoever has the most family members, or in case of a tie, who has the highest ranking, is going to get a bonus 2 points at the end of every round for kind of controlling the church.
Right.
So that's the mass at the end of each round, and then you repopulate all the cube spots, and you start a new round.
Yep.
And that is how the village works.
That is.
So we're going to roll to see who goes first?
Yep.
What do you got?
I got a 6.
I think you're going first. Yep, you're going first.
Awesome.
And there's a cat on the table yet again.
Again.
Jinx, I love you, but go away. There you go. There's a good key. All right, so you want to set it for 10 minutes and we'll go?
Yep, 10 is on the clock.
All right, you're going first.
Let's Leroy Jenkins this up.
Yep.
Okay, let's see here. I'm going to have a family member.
Nice.
Number 2.
So am I.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. That was a good move.
Copycat. Well, I'm just going to have another one.
Hey.
So that makes my time go by 1 because I had to take a play cube to do it.
Yep. Alright, so what am I going to do now? I want to get myself a green cube to send one of my first generation out into the world to become a brewmaster.
Interesting.
So that's going to cost me 3 time to train them. 1, 2, 3. And it's going to cost me 3 more time. 1, 2, 3 to get 2 barrels of the beer.
I see.
Yep.
Well, I'm also going to go there so I can get a brown cube.
Nice.
And I'll put someone in the... Let's see here. I'm going to put him in the carriage factory.
Nice. Are you going to train them?
I am. So
4
that's
time?
2 time and 2 time to buy a carriage.
There you go.
Thanks.
Nice. So she's going for traveling.
I don't know. I just need carriages.
Thinking. Am I go?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to pull this green cube.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to let me take one of my first generation, and I'm going to send them off to the monkery. Now, this is either going to cost me 1 brown cube to send them off, or 3 time. 1, 2, 3 time.
Look at that. Well, I'm also going to put someone into the monastery.
Monastery? I heard that.
I was going to say, there you go. It's a bad habit. We make up words and then we just use them.
So 1 brown cube or 3 time?
Oh, it's 1 brown cube for me.
Ooh, don't want your members dying off soon. Interesting.
Well, they've got to do stuff first.
All right. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brown cube from here, and it's going to cost me 1 time, and it's going to cost me either a parchment or 2 green cubes. Here's my 2 green cubes. And I'm going to send one of my first generation off to the councilman area. And that is going to give me this first rank of the starting player ring. So I'm going to get to go first next round.
I see how it's going to be.
Now, my time marker's crossed over the bridge, so now my turn's over. One of my first generation is going to die.
Oh no, who is it?
I know. And I'm looking at what's out on the board, and I don't want him dead. I don't really want my farmer dead already. But my councilman, there's only 1 councilman spot in the Chronicle.
Of course.
So he walks in and says, "I'm here to help out and be a councilman." Woo! And then trips down the stairs and dies.
Oh, that's
I know.
awfully sad. Horrible. Why would that happen to someone?
But kickstarted a whole slew of regulations for buildings and stuff to make them safer.
True. That's probably where it started.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so let me see here. What's going to happen? I need to get another color cube, so it's going to have to be this brown one.
Gotcha.
Oh, make some wheat.
Some of the wheat.
I get to make 2 because I don't have anybody to help me make extra wheat yet.
There you go. 2 wheat for you. Right on. What am I doing now? I know what I'm doing now. I got to pull this orange cube here. And I'm going to have to send out my second generation. He's young. He wants to get some friends going, and he's going to the inn. So it's going to cost me 1 time just to get him ready to drink a lot. And then 1 more time, and I can actually get myself one of these guys. So we have a cattle breeder, which costs 1 coin. And I can trade him in 1 shot to get either a horse or a cow. I got this scribe that I can do 1 shot to get 2 scrolls. Or this artist. And the artist is a bonus points for the end of the game. And what it does is, at the end of the game, depending on how many people you have in the Chronicle, you get so many points. The artist changes that and gives you more points. So I'm going to spend 2 beer.
I guess.
And I'm going to get the artist.
Who's next? Ooh, the bird.
Play this card when one of your family members passes away.
Oh, I see.
And add it to the Chronicle regardless of where it died. Oh, it doesn't occupy any of the spaces in the Chronicle. It's simply placed there additionally.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's an interesting way to get, like, it doesn't take up one of the free spots, but you still get extra points.
Nicey nice.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
All right. So that was my go.
Okay. So let's see. I am going to actually go a traveling.
Nice.
So I took the cube. Yep. I have to spend my 2 brown ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 time.
2 time.
And my carriage.
Yep.
And I'm going up here to the spot for 3 points.
3 points for Charlotte.
I'll
1,
put
2, 3.
first generation in there.
Nice. Yeah, only one traveler is remembered, so the first generation, that's a good move.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next I'm going to pull a orange cube,
Mm-hmm.
and that is going to allow my brewmaster down there to spend 3 time, 1, 2, 3, and he's going to get me some more of the ale.
I see.
Yep.
I'll pull this pink cube,
Mm-hmm.
so I can spend this pink cube
Ooh.
to get me a scroll, please.
Scroll.
Yep.
Here you go.
Thanks.
No problem. I'm going to pull this pink cube, spend some more time networking with beer. I'm going to buy myself a bard.
Of course you are.
I mean, that is a great like synergy of cards.
Yeah.
Why not? All right.
Okay.
And that reveals the municipal,
Right.
which gives you 2 points for for resources that you have
Yeah, for
That's
that
cool.
combination probably.
at the end of the game. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to pull this brown one
Ooh.
so that I can put in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a scroll.
Scroll, and
And
it
one
costs
time.
you 1 time. Oh, and you get the start player ring back.
Oh, look at that. La la la.
Larg. I'm going to spend 3 of the orange to get a free action that's blocked. It's going to cost me 1 time. I'm going to network some more. I'm going to spend $1,
What?
and I'm going to get myself a scribe,
Of course you are.
which opens up the cut purse. Interesting.
That's for the end of the game.
Yep. Okay. There you go.
Let's see here. I'm going to go back to the market here. I have to take that. Take one of those.
Nice.
So I'll give you a pink cube so I can get another scroll, please.
Oh, you take the pink cube.
Oh, right.
I'll get you the scroll. Here you go.
Thanks.
Excellent. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this green cube,
That's what I was going to do.
and I'm going to start the market, and I'm going to use my scribe to get me 2 scrolls, which I am then going to use the 2 scrolls to get this market right here.
Nice move, and I don't have green cubes, so I cannot partake.
Ho-ho.
Because for a green cube at a time, I could have got in on that, but
Yep.
oh
Plan that
well.
out. Yeah.
So I guess I'll take this one, and I'll take 2
more wheat?
please.
Right on. 2 wheat for you.
Thanks.
All right. I am also going to pull a plague cube 1 time, and I'm going to farm for 2 wheat. Like so.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see here. I'll take this one. It advances me 1 time
Ouch.
to buy. I'll just spend time to get a carriage, actually.
Yep. 2 more time.
So 1 for the I already advanced it, 1 for the plague cube, right?
Yep.
2 more for the carriage.
Mm-hmm. And now
Someone has to bite
Yep.
it.
Traveler. Makes sense.
There you go.
Only the 1 spot
Well,
there.
it's
Yep.
dangerous out there.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have gone alone.
Nope.
No.
All right. So my turn. I got a travel cube, or I got a monkery cube. I've already got 1 person in my monkery, I believe.
But can you travel, or are you just going to block it from me?
Do you have the cubes? No, you don't have a traveler out there anymore. Oh, but you do have more people. That's tricky. You know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to take a plague cube like that. I'm going to spend 3 time, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to send my first generation guy into the monastery again, which means someone has to die. So really all I've got is this guy right here. He's going to no longer be a brewmaster. He just,
Oh,
yeah,
it's too bad.
you gotta not partake when you're creating the brew.
Oh, is that what happened to him?
A little bit, yeah.
He got overpolluted.
Yep,
Oh,
so
that's sad.
he's gone, but he was remembered for really, really good ale.
There you go. So I have to take this one,
Mhm.
and then it makes my time go by 1.
Yep.
And I can't actually travel because I didn't get another pink one.
Okay. All right, so that's the end of the first round. So first we do the monastery, the mass. Do you want to, did you send anyone?
Sure. I sent someone, yeah, didn't I?
Yep, you did.
I'll pay $1 and get him out.
Okay,
Oops.
that's right. All right, so I've got 2 of my first generation with 4. 1 person's already out, so I'm only going to pull 3 more. Hopefully I'm going to pull both of my family members.
Oh, wouldn't that be exciting? Since
Shake
yours
them
are
up
in
really,
there,
really
I
good.
should pull.
You pull. Go ahead. Shake them up good. 2.
Another monk.
3. Oh!
Oh, it's another monk.
That's just horrible.
Look at that.
Yeah. I call shenanigans.
Well, you draw them then.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, so both my family members are still in the monastery. Charla is a church member, which means she has a majority. That's going to give her another 2 points.
Oh, nice. I like 2 points.
And if you want, she can spend wheat to increase the rank.
I would.
Okay. 3 wheat.
Well, actually, I probably wouldn't have. He's only rank 1. He might have died at the monastery. Yeah. But anyway.
Yep.
But you can spend wheat to advance them for the end of the game to get you points.
Yeah. All right, so that's how the village plays. You keep going until these are all full. There's only 1 spot left for a laborer, 2 spots left for the church, and 3 spots left for farm. So, I mean, 10 minutes and almost half the chronicle is already full.
Right.
Yeah, so it does go pretty quick once you understand, like once you get used to the mechanics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a brewmeister and sending someone to the inn, not a strategy I've ever really used before, but I mean, I got some great cards that would really give me some good bonuses.
I like playing with those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does add a lot to the game. Shall I go over final scoring?
Oh, yeah. We probably should, just to give them an idea. And then we can clean up a little bit.
Yeah. All right, so after you get done, there are a lot of things that give you points, especially the mass. You get those 2 points. And some of these cards, when you use them, they immediately give you points. But when the game is all done, the final scoring, first you score your travel. So for every disc that you have in the travel, you're going to get points based off of that chart.
Right.
So Charlotte would only get 1.
Right.
But I mean, if she was really focused on travel, like the last game we played or playthrough, she'd get like a lot more.
I did. I got 35 points, wasn't
it?
Or 36.
You get a ton of points.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So you score your travel first. Then you look at the council chamber, and depending on wherever your members are in the ranking, you get points based off of that.
Yeah, none for the first, but 2, 4, and 6 for those ones.
Then you look at the church, and the church is the same thing: 2, 3, 4, or 6, depending on the ranking of your family members in the church.
Right.
Right on. Then you would go to the village chronicle, and if you've got 3 members in the village chronicle, you get 4 points. 4 members in the village chronicle gives you 7, and 5 members gives you 12. Or, with my handy dandy card here, 3 points, 7 points, 12 points, 18 points, and if I have 6 people in there, 21.
Wow.
Which, with
that's
this
crazy.
bard, I could have very easily done.
Yeah, that's true.
So that would have given me quite a few points. Then customer tiles. These customer tiles from going to the market, you keep face down, so nobody really knows. And you flip them up, and that would have given me another 4 points. Any coins that are left over are worth 1 point each. And then, if there's a tie, it comes down to who has the most customer tiles to break the tie. If there's still a tie, it's the person with the highest number of family members still alive.
Right.
Which is tricky because the game kind of flips that idea of keeping your game pieces alive on its head, because you really do want to kind of manipulate things so that your family members die off a little bit quicker than the other members and in the right spot.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's end game scoring on these, which you'd also score.
Yep. So that is the village and the village inn.
Right.
So we'll clean up.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
And we're back.
We're back. Hope you enjoyed our little playthrough of the village and the village inn.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think it was fun.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite games.
That's a spoiler. Spoiler.
Spoiler. All right, so the components of the village and the village inn, what do you think?
Oh, they're great. The board is wonderful. It's not too busy either. The first time I looked at it, I thought it was, but it's very good use.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no wasted space or anything, which is awesome. Because sometimes with a board like this, it can get a little busy. And then if you add the extra artwork, sometimes it takes away from what you need to do with the board.
The functionality, yeah.
Right, but it's great. And the artwork is pretty good.
The artwork actually, the artwork is great when you're looking at the village, but they've also done this really clever thing with the color schemes to help with the functionality.
Yes,
so this yellow circle here, which is where all the cubes for when you're doing all the craftsman stuff, all the roofs are yellow. So this is that area, and the same thing like with all of them. So
Yeah.
it's a really clever way to keep the functionality and the art kind of in sync.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is really awesome.
And all the components are great heavy cardboard
Mm-hmm.
and wooden pieces.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Yep.
What do you think about the strategy of the game?
The strategy of Village, there's a little tiny bit of randomness, but not a lot. There's a little bit of randomness when you take out these tiles for what the market's going to want for demand. But you're also seeing really far ahead for what the future demand is. So that cuts down that randomness a lot.
Yeah. And then there's randomness on how the cubes are drawn.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a specific set number of cubes come out. So you're going to get a sense of what it's going to be. Just you're not sure where they're going to be.
Exactly.
But of course, there's ways to mitigate that, because all you got to do is save up some cubes of the color you don't want to use, and you can take those free actions. So again, randomness, but not a lot. And even with that little bit of randomness, a lot of ways to mitigate it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So really, this game is heavy on strategy and tactics. And the great thing with the strategy of Village is there's so many different kinds of strategy that you can take. You know, focus on craftsmen in the market so you can sell stuff. Go traveling so you can fill up all that travel board. There's one time I was really crafting a lot, selling it. Hi, Jinx. Jinx is not a strategy for this board game.
No. She doesn't have a head for strategy. No.
Yeah, there's one where I was basically farming and getting lots of wheat, selling the wheat for as much money as I could, and then using my councilman to sell that off for points.
Right.
Like, so many different kinds of strategies you can do. And then when you add the inn and these cards here, there's a lot of different cards, and they can kind of, there's a synergy between the cards and the strategies to like boost it way over the top.
Yeah.
How many points did you get for traveling?
I was
30.
here and I got to 45.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah.
Normally the most you can get is 18, but she had these two cards, 31 points just for traveling. Like, so many different strategies you can do. It's
And
great.
I normally don't go for travel either. Like,
Yeah.
I was trying something different.
Yeah, and it worked.
Like, one thing I really like about the Village Inn is that you get these cards and you kind of don't have to decide your own strategy. Sometimes the cards drive the way you're going to play the game too.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I find, you know, a little helpful, because with so many paths to victory, sometimes it gets a little, oh, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
But I really like those cards and how they...
And I've played games with the inn involved where I completely ignored it and still did really well. I've decided my own strategy.
You usually win. So yeah.
Different ways there. The tactics for it is there's always going to be those cubes and where did they go and what do I pull first? And then there's a lot of tactics around making sure that your family members are in the right spot of the board to die at the right time to get into the chronicle before the other players.
Sounds horrible. But
I know, the first time we played, we drugged that game on forever because we did not want our family members to die at all.
No, you more so than me, because I was like, I gotta get these people in that book.
And I was like, what do I do? How do I make sure Uncle Joe doesn't die this round? It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Not the way you want to go when you play the village.
No.
No. You got to say goodbye to Uncle Joe.
Aw. It's always poor Uncle Joe.
Yeah. But if you don't like a lot of randomness, you just love that balance of strategy and tactics, this is a game for you.
Yeah.
Just an amazing balance there.
Yeah.
For the village, what do you think of the complexity?
The complexity. Well, the rulebook's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, great rulebook.
And to look up the cards and everything is really easy. So that's another plus.
Yep.
Also, to teach the game, it's fairly straightforward to teach.
Yep.
There's only so many things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that to pull the cubes, like, it's not that typical worker placement.
Yeah, very unique.
So once you get a handle on that mechanic, it's pretty easy to teach.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not bad to set up at all either.
No.
No.
Lots of very useful aids, so you know exactly how many cubes go in the bag and how many come out and go on the board.
And then the difficulty, it's not hard at all. It's just you have to have a few moves or a few turns, and then you're like, okay, now, I gotta do this next, and then this, and this, and this. So there's just a little bit of planning.
Yep.
But all in all, it's not overly complex or difficult.
Yeah. And one of the things that's really great, especially for new players coming in, is you can tell them right away, look, I know there's a lot of different things you can do, but you don't have to do everything. it's definitely not a game where if you don't do everything, you're going to lose. You can really focus on a couple of things. So that makes it a little bit easier for new players to get in. It's like, oh, so I really only have to do a couple of things here and there? That's great. I'll do that.
Yeah.
And then branch out later.
I'm really thinking about that time that we taught it to our two friends there.
Yep.
And she just focused on the beer.
Yeah.
Beer. And she, like, got a monopoly on the beer. So that just totally locked us out of the whole card thing.
Yeah.
So for her first go, that was a really good strategy.
Good. And she had a card that gave her bonus points at the end of the game for having beer.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Good strategy.
Yeah.
What about the playability of the game?
The playability. The mechanics and the theme. The mechanics of the village and the inn are very, very unique. That whole time mechanic, wanting to bump off your family members at the right time. Instead of taking a worker and placing them like worker placement, you got cubes that you're pulling, but you're still placing workers out and training them. It's so unique. Like, I don't know any games that do it this way at all. So that is just amazing. And how they blend in with the theme is really good. I love the fact that you're trying to have your family members, yeah, you're trying to bump them off and they die, but it's because they need to be remembered. So you're not really killing them. They're going to die anyway. You just want to make sure they're in the right spot to be remembered forever.
Right. And the cubes, don't they actually each color of cube mean a certain thing?
Yeah, instead of like a resource, the colors of cubes represent like skills and stuff.
Right, so that blends in with the theme too. So some people say, oh, it's just a bunch of different colored cubes. But actually, they actually mean a certain thing. So,
and then the cubes that you need to spend on the board go along with those skills.
Right.
So like the orange represents, the orange cubes represent skill, and they're required for travel or crafts. The green cubes are persuasiveness.
Yeah, and they're all in here.
Yeah, so you need them for the market and the council chamber.
Right.
The brown cubes represent faith, so you need them for travel in the church. And the pink cubes represent knowledge, so they're needed for crafts and travel.
Right.
And of course, the black cubes just represent getting sick and dying. Still, it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. It scales really well. Once you've got a handle on exactly what you're doing, I mean, your turn is you pull a cube, you take the action, you're done.
Yeah.
So really, really quick, scales well.
Yeah. And you usually
length.
get like that plan, like I was saying. So once it's your turn, you're like, oh, good, I can still do that.
Yeah.
And you're done.
Yeah. And that's great. There's not a lot of downtime. And what downtime you have, you can plan and keep an eye to make sure that they don't take that cube you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah. Game length is great. It's not a long game because it does go so quickly.
Yeah.
Yep. And some points to be had during the game, but a lot of the points come right at the end. So it can be a really close game a lot of the time, which I love that. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, does it have the awesomeness or does it have the cuteness?
Well, I would have to say that this game is more awesome than cute.
More awesome than cute. I will agree. Yep.
Yeah.
The artwork's cute-ish.
The artwork is good.
Yep.
But it's not adorable. So, yeah. I mean...
But it's not like dark and gloomy.
Oh, no.
You
It's
think
not
a game
dark and
about
gloomy
your guys dying would be dark and gloomy, but it's really not.
It's not.
No, it's cheerful. It's nice. It's a little cartoony, but it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the awesomeness? Does it have the awesomeness?
Yeah, I would say this game has the awesomeness for sure.
Me too.
Over the
Yeah. Definitely in the way that it plays. Just and all the different things you can do. It's
and
awesome.
the puzzly and the different ways you can work everything together. Yeah.
And it's not really a part of the game. Maybe it's just the way that
we are.
Yeah, it probably is because we do like that storytelling element in games. But when somebody dies, I can't help but come up with some kind of story.
Yeah, it's like...
Especially if it's an odd thing, like my councilman going in and say, hey, I'm here to be a councilman, and then dying immediately. Like,
right.
What happened there?
You can't help it.
Yeah. Not part of the game, but still, it comes out and it's fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just, it's our own expansion to the game.
Yeah. Make up stories of how they die.
Yeah.
Should have like an extra pad of paper here so you can make a story every time you put someone in the chronicle and get bonus points for it.
For the most creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Off topic again. So how would you rate the game?
Me, I would rate the village, especially when you add the inn in, which opens up more past the victory, as outstanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
I don't think there's ever a moment where someone would be like, let's play the Village. And I'll be like, let's try something else. No, I'm like, Village? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, love this game. One of my favorites.
It is a great game.
Yep.
I'm such a visual player.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the colors, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't draw me in as much.
Oh, they don't?
No, the
okay.
colors don't draw me in as much.
Oh, okay.
But the gameplay is outstanding.
Yeah, the gameplay is great. So, did we finish the game as sweethearts or rivals? We finished the game as?
Rivals.
Rivals. Yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes I might be a little bit more on the fence and be a little bit of a sweetheart.
Yeah, because you don't want to, you know.
It's not that I don't want to do anything. It's just I can be really focused on my own path.
It's true.
And I can keep going on my own path without having to block you. There is a strategy to looking at what you're doing and trying to block you. But it's not necessary.
No, it's not necessary.
Yeah. But I do find it more fun. So.
You're right.
Sometimes sweethearts, mostly rivals.
Mostly rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Excellent.
So that was The Village and The Village Inn.
Yep. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time. And let's roll the dice to see who goes first.
Okay. I got a 2.
We got a cat in the way.
We got a cat in the way. Cat in the way!